Hey there, Chelsea J here. I want to thank you again for tuning into this series. You are in for, oh, your mind is going to be blown with this conversation, okay? I had the honor of speaking with Tamara Warren today, who is just absolutely incredible. Her vibe, her spirit, just everything about her is simply amazing, absolutely wonderful. And we get real about some real topics in the workplace, especially when it comes to Black women navigating the workplace. Let me tell you a little bit about Tamra. Tamara Allen is a highly experienced professional with over 16 years of expertise in the banking industry, specializing in cybersecurity, anti money laundering compliance, and fraud prevention. Tammy is an overachiever holding a bachelor's degree in accounting, a master's degree in project management, and an MBA, a testament to her drive and dedication to professional growth. Tammy is deeply passionate about diversity, inclusion, and belonging, and has actively participated in various initiatives and business resource groups, serving on leadership boards and organizing events. As a charismatic speaker and culture carrier, she has been featured in prestigious publications such as Black Enterprise Magazine and Afrotech. Tammy is a true pace setter who is known for her ability to get things done with an uncanny ability to detect outliers and see people for who they truly are. Her energy and approachability have earned her a reputation as the go to person who knows everyone. Tammy is a knowledgeable workplace archaeologist and an organizational resuscitator who is unafraid to tackle big problems head on. Ooh, that description fits her perfectly and describes her personality to a T. You are going to love this conversation. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, keep listening. All right. Hi, Tamara. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Chelsea. How are you?
I am wonderful, and I'm even more excited to sit down and chat with you today. And I'm so thrilled that you decided to be a guest on this series.
No worries. When I saw what you were doing, I was like, yeah, it's like this is along the lines of what I think is important. So yeah, no, I'm glad that you're doing the work that you're doing.
I love it. Thank you so much. And before we get started, I would love for you to share why you decided to say yes and share your experience today with our audience.
Well, one of the things that like most people who work with me, and especially recently, is what I've been doing is quoting the great Issa Rae, which means I'm rooting for everybody black. And like I recently just started a podcast with one of my good friends, and one of the things that we do is like I recently said, I believe that every black woman's voice should be heard. And
Mhm.
this particular topic is so prevalent, but a lot of people will not talk about it on a
Mhm.
very public platform. So, me being who I am, I felt like, okay, if somebody's going to be able to share their experience and be able to help somebody who's going through it, then I'm gonna do it. So that's why I chose. I absolutely, I
Um,
saw it, said, I'm saying yes to that.
Amazing. Love it. So, can you share a little bit about your toxic workplace experience and how it has impacted your career?
Yes. So I'm going to say that toxic workplaces aren't necessarily when you hear that term, right?
Mhm.
Some people automatically think that an entire organization is toxic. And
Mhm.
I have never seen it where like from the top to the bottom where the
Mhm.
entire organization is just like ill, right? Most
Mhm.
of the
Mhm.
time it is organizations within the company or certain managers or a team of managers. Um, and sometimes it's just one person, right? And it's
Mhm.
like depending upon your experience, that could like one person can completely change your entire experience.
Yes.
Um, I've been in several toxic workplace
Mm.
experiences. I mean,
Mhm.
honestly, it's interesting because it's something I've been thinking about. Is like I don't know a black woman who hasn't had one.
Yes,
It's
unfortunately. Mhm.
right, and it's like if they have it, it's like it's coming because it seems to be
Yes.
par for the course. And so for me, I think back to one in particular where honestly, afterwards, it was the impetus to me going to therapy because that's
Mhm.
how bad it was. It was I was being singled out. So um some people will resonate with this. I had a
Mhm.
boss that was brought on without any prior experience, and I had to train them.
Oh, yep. Been there.
And it seemed cool in the beginning. And
Mhm.
there was just one particular incident that just completely, like, it shifted everything. And so I remember sitting at my desk one day and they walked up to me and they asked me, like, have you been talking about me behind my back? And
Wow.
me, right? Black
Mhm.
woman was like, I'm
Yes.
at work, it's after 4 o'clock. And so I literally did one of these. Are you talking to me? Are you like,
Yep.
and in my mind, I'm thinking, you at work,
Right.
you at work, you're at work, you're at work.
Yes.
And I'm like, I am not sure what you're talking about.
Mhm.
And they responded, oh, I thought so. I was like, I know that you're not that type of person. So I figured it wasn't you. And they left. And I was thinking, oh my God,
Mhm.
I'm going to HR. So I
Yeah.
immediately got up from my desk and went to HR and
Mhm.
said, hey, date, time, this is what happened. I didn't question it or anything.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
from there, it spiraled. Like
Mm.
it started to build. And so, like there was shoulder surfing then, where it's like,
Yep.
I'm trying to do my work and they're looking over my shoulder, like at
Mhm.
messages I'm sending and, well, didn't you do this? And I'm just like, are we doing this now? Are we it was like,
Right.
are we shoulder surfing? And it escalated to a point where, I, I had been talking with some of my friends because I was like,
Mm.
the way that this person came at me was
Mhm.
very unprofessional. And
Right.
this person is a different race of me.
Mhm.
And I was like, I can't, if the tables were turned, I'd be fired. And I don't know how to
Absolutely.
approach this. And so
Absolutely.
I remember, you know, the pinnacle of this was
Mhm.
I remember having a meeting and I was to approach them about we were going to discuss what happened. And I let them like, hey, what you did was very unprofessional. It made me feel
Mhm.
very uncomfortable. And then they proceeded to tell me that they thought that my relationships with other people in the company
Mhm.
was preventing me from doing my work, which
Wow.
alarm bells went off because again,
Yes.
I'm like, I trained you, I built the team, I'm the only one on the team doing any work. So I'm not
Mhm.
sure how that's even true. So I immediately thought, okay, this person is trying to get me. They're out to get my job. They're out to get me fired. Like it's very clear. And
Right.
so like they said that and I was like, I put my hands, I was like, I don't feel comfortable having this conversation right now.
Mhm.
And they threw their pen across the table and said, so when are you going to be ready to have this conversation? And
Wow.
after this, they just kept talking and talking. And in this moment, I am literally having a panic attack.
Mhm. Mhm.
And all I did was like, I'm not comfortable. I kept repeating myself, I'm not comfortable having this conversation right now. I'm not comfortable having this conversation right now. I am crying. Like I am
Mhm.
literally in the midst of this. And this person is
Mhm.
continuing to talk. I don't even know how the conversation ended. All I know is like afterwards, I got up, I went direct to HR. I was like, I can't work with this person. There's no way in
Mhm.
hell that you can make me. I'm not doing this.
Absolutely. And Tamara, you brought up so many points that I think it's essential that we highlight.
Yes.
Number one, your responses were like, it was just everything because can you imagine if you would have responded in any other way, you would have been labeled as the angry Black woman in the office.
Yes.
You would have been
Yes.
aggressive. Oh, she was hostile towards me. So I
Yes.
want to talk a little bit more about your responses and how
Mhm.
you knew to respond the way that you did and how you knew to get HR involved.
Ooh, I had this was like the first time I had encountered something like this.
Okay.
Um, and it's just like, my mother has been very good at preparing me and my sister for these types of things. You're like, the whole you gotta work twice as hard and everything. But my mom
Yes.
always would peep me the game, like, hey, you can't do this. And it's kind of
Mhm.
like, like coming up in corporate America, I've had mentors and people who would be like, hey, you can't do that. Or you can't
Right.
dress like that. You can't say that. You can't
Yes.
wear your hair like that. It's like people will peep you the game. Right. And
Mhm.
so for me, it was very clear. Like, the way that this person came at me was like, because I had like, previous in my career, like, you come into corporate America, you think, oh, I'm gonna make all this money, I'm gonna be able to do all these things.
Mhm.
And then, like I
Mhm.
said, you have somebody saying, you can't do that. They can do that, but you can't do that. And
Right.
so the way they came at me, like I was like the first thing I thought, because I'm like, I've lived everywhere. I've lived in suburbs, I've lived in
Mhm.
projects. And so the way they came at me, I was like, "Ooh, you coming at me like we not at work.
It
I
was
need to
very
chill."
they were provoking you
Very.
as well,
Oh,
almost
oh,
like they wanted that reaction.
yes. Yes, they
Yeah.
absolutely wanted the reaction. And
Mhm.
I just thought to myself, like you said, it's like we are taught, right? The black
Yes.
woman trope, the angry black woman trope. And I was like, not
Yes.
today, Satan. That ain't gonna be
Okay.
me. I have a daughter. I had a daughter and I had to immediately like, okay, you a mama,
Yep.
you got a child, you gotta like, you can't approach this way. And so
Exactly.
that was the immediate thing. Like I recognized exactly who I was talking to, who was talking to me, who was around me, and where I was. Because like you
Mhm.
said, it's like we don't have the luxury. We don't.
Right.
Like it's not
Exactly.
fair. Do I think that it will change anytime soon? No, I don't. And
No,
so for me, like I
unfortunately.
thought about my daughter first, and I thought about if I do this, if I react the way that I went against my automatic nature. And this isn't as a black
Mhm.
woman or anything, but just as a person, right? When somebody
Yes.
approaches you that way, the first thing you want to do is defend yourself
Mhm.
because they were pretty close to me too. And so I
Exactly.
had to I had to deny my instinct because the initial instinct is to be like, I need for you to back up.
Who are you talking to?
I,
Back
I I
up.
really like I really need for you to like there needs to be some space here. Um
Exactly.
and so I knew to go to HR because again, it's like it's gonna be my word against theirs.
Right.
And I already know that it's like if it's not, like
Mhm.
I already know if I don't have proof, if I am not
Right.
CYA, if I am not documenting everything, it's gonna be very easy for them to say, well, you never said anything. Like
Exactly.
it's very easy for me to go with her or with them. And so like that
Yep.
was the first thing that came to my head. It was like
Mhm.
I cannot that can't be me. It
Right.
can't be me.
Absolutely.
Because the consequences
Absolutely.
for me will be way more serious than that
Noticeably
than
different.
theirs.
Yes. And I'm
Yes.
curious, was there ever any of your colleagues around to witness this, or did that supervisor come up and do it when no one else was around?
There were people who witnessed it.
And what did they
There's
do?
absolutely people. If anything, they supported me because I
Okay.
definitely filed a report with ethics and with HR. And I said, hey,
Mhm.
y'all were around here when you saw it. You answer whatever
Yes.
questions. But it
Mhm.
was like for this wasn't just that person.
Mhm.
There was you went
Mhm.
a level above and there was some issues. I was
Mhm.
being put in a position where like beyond the harassment,
Mhm.
my work was in a position where there was a conflict of interest. And
Okay.
there was like it's kind of like and I recognized it was like this
Right.
needs to change. And so I think that there was, some questions about like, whether what I was saying was correct or not.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't think that people liked it.
Of
I've
course not.
I've when it comes to work, I am rarely going to bite my tongue.
Mhm.
I'm gonna make sure I share my thoughts and my concerns in a very
Mhm.
professional way, but they will be shared because like I want to make sure like if it's my job to raise issues, I'm going to raise
Mhm.
issues.
Mhm.
And I think that that put
Absolutely.
me I was already in like a weird like again I don't think people were liking what I was saying. So again there was level above. Um
Mhm.
and I thought that that kind of contributed to things too.
Right, absolutely, and I would say that they didn't like it because it didn't turn out the way they thought it was going to turn out. You had all your ducks in a row, you knew to document everything, you knew who to pull in, and that's usually not the case. Not everyone has that knowledge and is equipped
Oh
with the
no,
ability to
no.
do that.
No, it's not. And it's, like that's part of the reason why
Mm.
I'm huge on mentorship. Even though I do know Black
Mhm.
women are overly mentored and under sponsored, where I can sponsor
Yes.
somebody, I'm sponsoring, but I love
Mhm.
mentoring them and coaching them because somebody
Mhm.
needs to tell them what is what.
Yes.
Because there's like you can go on LinkedIn or anywhere. There's a lot of editors
Mhm.
like, you can do anything, you can reach for the stars and strive for all this stuff. It's like, yeah, you can, but there are certain
Mhm.
things that you need to be aware of coming
Right.
in somebody that's looking like me, that there is a double standard. I don't care how
Mhm.
open like the organization is.
Yes.
I don't care how dedicated they are to diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging initiatives.
Mhm.
There are unwritten rules that apply to only us. And that's the same in
Mhm.
society. So in corporate
Absolutely.
America and working in these environments, it's not going to be any different, right?
Right.
Like people have biases, like people are
Mhm.
flat out racist. And I was like,
Yes.
don't think that they just take that off when they come to work.
Right. Right.
Like this is
It'll
just
creep
kind of
up in
like,
subtle ways at work.
yes, it's like
Mhm.
southern, it's like what is it? Southern hospitality, southern nice
Mhm.
nasty,
Yeah.
right? You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
bless your soul, bless your heart, right?
Bless your
Like
little
you
heart. Yes.
yeah, yeah, and it's an insult. It's a backhanded like
Exactly.
it's like they are insulting you. But yeah, that's kind of what it's like.
Absolutely. So now I'm curious, what happened with that supervisor once you got HR involved, once you had your witnesses? How did that turn out?
Oh, this section is going to be fun. So, So I took some time where I was like working from home, and during that
Mhm.
time I was having to track everything,
Yep.
all of my work, which was not fun. But when I did come back, I filed a complaint with HR. I did come back into the
Mm.
office. This person denied any wrongdoing. They did not
Of
find any
course.
fault.
Mhm.
And then they got promoted.
Wow. I wish I could say I was surprised, but I'm not. That's
Somebody needs to
typical.
hear this because
Yes.
the idea that like if you do these things, if you report it to HR, that there's going to be some like the good guys are going to win. It's like, no,
Mhm.
honey. Okay. Like
Right.
for me, like I understand that HR, like like the HR department is there to protect the
Mhm.
company, right?
Yes.
As they
Yep.
should. There are instances where people will report things to HR and they actually get the outcome that they're looking for. But from my
Mhm.
experience, 9 times out of 10, it's not. This is more so
Exactly.
and this is an exercise in CYA.
Mhm.
CYA, aka cover your ass.
Yes,
Because if
absolutely.
there's anything that comes up later on where somebody's challenging any
Mhm.
behavior or any actions, you have written proof that said, hey,
Yes.
I reported this time, this happened this date. Here's some screenshots, here's some documentation, here's an
Right.
email. Like, this is all to cover me,
Yes.
right? If anything comes up and they say, well, I didn't like exhibit A, B, C, and D, and just have it like that
Absolutely.
in order to protect myself. So yeah,
Yes.
this like when I found that I was just like I had like by this time I'd already decided, okay, it's time for me to go.
Mhm.
But that one for me
Yeah.
is it was almost like the cherry on top to say, you know what? This ain't really for me. It's not for me.
Absolutely.
My time is done. Like, let me move on and everything's yeah. So yeah, that was fun. Not really.
Ooh, yes, that wow. Wow. So now my next question for you is, How long
Mhm.
did you stay with that company and in that role? And how long did you go through that?
Oh, okay. So I had been in that company for 7 years,
Okay.
and, I had went through that. I think that was a short time. It happened very
Okay.
quickly. I think it was about 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
No, let's say about 6 months. 6 months I
Okay.
endured it, but after that, I left 3 months later. 3 months later, I threw up them deuces real hard, so,
Oh,
like, it
yes.
yeah, so
And
yeah, have
hallelujah
not.
to that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, yeah, after that, it was like, like I said, that was, I had panic attack. I didn't recognize that I had anxiety, and so I started
Mm.
going to therapy, and I had to, like, I had to work through it with my therapist. My therapist is a Black woman. I
Mhm.
specifically needed a Black woman because
Yes.
I was like, nobody else is going to understand the nuance that comes along with everything that happened. And
Mhm.
it really helped me to kind of regain my power because I was afraid. Like I
Mhm.
was afraid to say anything to this manager. I would like
Mhm.
I like it literally gave me anxiety to even think about
Ah,
it. And so therapy definitely helped me to
mhm.
recognize that, like, this is like I have the power. Like, you
Mhm.
know, outside of work, outside of work, I don't think this person wanted that smoke. There's no way
Of
in hell they
course.
wanted that smoke. Like
Right.
they did it because they knew they could, right? And
Exactly.
so for me, it's just like understanding the amount of privilege and power that they held. I had to understand that I had some too. And that
Absolutely.
there was nothing like, there was nothing that they could really do to
Mhm.
me
Mhm.
but what they did, right? Because I
Right.
also think, and this is interesting because I never thought about it this way, it's
Mhm.
like the amount of restraint that I had to exercise in this. The amount,
Yes.
like the amount of anger, right? Because
Mhm.
Black women can't be angry. We don't have the space. We're not allowed to
Right.
be angry. We can't get huffy
Exactly.
about anything. And
Right.
the amount of anger that I felt was like they could do this. They thought it was okay.
Mhm.
And it's very
Exactly.
clear. It seemed to me that the organization supported their behavior because of what
Mhm.
happened afterwards. And so working through that and understanding, I can take back my power, I can take care of myself, and that I have the power to change any situation that I want. So somebody
Absolutely.
comes to me this way, again, I can say, you know what?
Mhm.
I'm not doing this. Bye.
Not today, not
Not
ever.
today. No, not ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Tamara, I'm grateful that you brought up a couple things
Mhm.
because as Black women, we are often painted as we're strong. We can put a lot on our shoulders. We can deal with everything. We don't hurt. But I love that you brought up the fact that it did do something for your mental health. It gave you anxiety and you sought out
Yes.
therapy, which is something that in our community, is a stigma. Like, what do you need a therapist for? Why are you going to get a therapist? So I want you to talk a little bit more about that and what gave you the courage to get therapy and recognize that, hey, I need some support here.
Yeah, no, so I had like, I've had experience with therapy throughout my
Mhm.
entire life. And for this, again, this was new. Right.
Mhm.
There was an amount of fear. And I remember talking to my best friend about it. And I remember saying, I don't want to feel this way
Yeah.
anymore. Like like I felt like I had no control over my emotions.
Mhm.
And like my emotions were just like I was just on this ride and my emotions were just kind of taking me whichever
Right.
way. And like again, I had never experienced something like that before. And so like
Mhm.
I've always been an advocate for therapy. Always. I'm like, go talk to somebody. Like my inner
Yes.
circle, like it's kind of like we talk about what we talk about with
Mhm.
our therapist. Um and so for me, I was like, it wouldn't hurt anything. Like, what
Mhm.
would it hurt for me to go and talk to somebody to see if I could get some help? And I did it through EAP, which is Employee Associate Program. Some companies have that where basically they will pay, like you could go and see a therapist for free. And I was like,
Yes.
I'm about to go see a therapist for free. And
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
how it started. And so like that same therapist, I still see her to this day.
Oh, beautiful.
I still see her today. But yeah, like it's like for me, I'm the type of person where it's like I guess the best way to describe it is
Mhm.
if I'm not gonna say I don't like something if I've never tried it. Within reason, right? Like
Yes.
I can't
Yep.
say like I don't like guacamole. Guacamole is gross. I was like, well, have you ever had guacamole? And then they tell me no. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like you got to at least try it and see. And so for me,
Exactly.
it was like, yeah, go try it. My best friend, like who's been in therapy for years, he
Mhm.
was like, maybe you should go talk to somebody. I'm like, okay, well then let's go
Mhm.
talk. Let's go talk. But yes, like I
Yes.
feel like especially now, like I feel like therapy is losing that stigma, especially in the Black community,
Mhm.
because of the benefits that people are like sharing. Like, hey, therapy helped me work through my childhood stuff. Therapy
Yes.
helped me work through anxiety, through depression, like all of these different things. And I think as a Black woman, like run the gambit. Like I like when I started, I said this is a part of 360 health for me. If I have a
Mhm.
primary care doctor, I need a therapist, and I need a mentor, and
Yes.
I need all of these people around me. And yeah, this is therapy definitely completely shifted, how I see myself, how I approach my
Mhm.
emotions, like what anxiety is, like how it shows up. Like, I have a conversation with my therapist and she's like, so are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? I'm like, no. Like, are you journaling? Are you meditating? Are you taking time for yourself? Like, all
Self-care.
those right, self-care, right? The
Mhm.
things that I know that work best for me. And it's a
Right.
good reminder and it's also a good space for me to kind of work through it. Um, just insight for me. For me, therapy isn't necessarily my therapist telling me
Mhm.
what to do. They're really not supposed to be telling me what to do.
Right.
The idea is that they give you space to explore things you already know and some things that you
Mhm.
haven't quite realized just yet. It's asking the
Yes.
right questions, giving you the right prompts, right? So how did that
Mhm.
make you feel? Let's explore this, right? I was like, you said this. Can we talk more about that? And most of the time I'm like, no, I don't want to talk more. Like, no, I don't. Like, damn it, I didn't mean to mention that. But yeah, it allows me space to kind of explore different things, different realms of what I'm feeling in ways that I could not do alone or by
Yes.
myself. Now, some people like are in therapy forever. Some people they go to see
Mhm.
therapists for just certain things, right? And so for
Right.
me, I started to go for anxiety and now I go for like whatever else is coming up in my life. So that's just
Mhm.
to say, for those who are curious about it, like you don't have to go forever. Like maybe you just
Right.
have this thing with work. Like we're talking about toxic workplaces. Like when I say my therapist
Exactly.
has she has when I say that she has helped me through some of these issues and different things, she has helped me work through it. And I think that it's like I don't see any harm in trying.
Right. Absolutely. And something else that I just really want to call out for everyone tuning in and listening is the fact that you have given so much advice on really building a support system because that's
Yeah.
what you need in your career. You mentioned getting a mentor, getting
Whew.
therapy, family, friends. You need people who can rally around you to give you that encouragement and that guidance to really
Yes.
navigate, how you show up in the workplace.
Yes, it's some people refer to it as your board of directors.
Love it.
Where you
Love it.
have like, I did this exercise last year. I was part of a
Mhm.
leadership development program. And so it's like, who's your board of directors? And I was like, what you mean? And they're like, who are the people like around your table where you go to them for certain things, right? You like they
Mhm.
can be mentors, they can be like family members, they can be friends, whatever. Like who are these people? And I remember doing that exercise. I was like, wow, I got a big board. Like
Yes.
my board is pretty big. And so for me, it's like it's friends, it's mentors and coaches at work. And it's like, people like I've met along the way, it's family. Like my mom, like I said, like my mom has been, oh my God, my mother is an inspiration.
Oh.
She's went back to school at 50,
Oh,
became a
awesome.
nurse, became a nurse, and now she owns her own home health aid business. And but
Oh,
she's
yes.
done but she's done like, she's done financing, like, billing for a
Mhm.
large university. She's been a mortgage broker. Like she's done so many things. And so
Mhm.
anytime I'm like, hey, mom, I'm going through this from work, she's like, okay, baby, so here's what you do, right?
Yes.
Be
Yes,
like,
mom.
here's what
That's
you
what
do,
I'm
here's
talking
what you
about.
don't do. Is like she has been so like she's been incredibly supportive of me and my career. And I'm just like, mom,
Mhm.
like they did this. What should I do? She's like, here's how you handle this type of person. And like peep me the game every time. She's been on point. So yeah, like the board, get yourself a board of directors, or at least like assess who are the people around you that you go
Mhm.
to. Like something's going on with work, right? Your manager is
Yep.
getting on your nerves. Who you talking to? Right? Not only your
Right.
best friend, but like is there somebody at work that like is at that same level, and so they can give you insight into like what that is. Um
Mhm.
like things like that. Like I currently have like a director on my board, and you like, he sits at the same level as my boss, and when I say he'll be saying stuff, I'm like, well, they're doing this, and I'm upset. And he'd be like, you ever think that maybe they're doing blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, I don't like this. I want to be mad. It's like, I don't like this. I want to be mad. He's like, no, you have to see it from their perspective as well. And I'm like, damn. So you got to get some people
Yes.
like, okay, so my formula is this. I have people on my
Mhm.
board of directors that are my
Mhm.
friends, right?
Yep.
My family. Now at work, I have people that are several levels above me. So
Mhm.
like I got somebody who's like a senior vice president,
Mhm.
and I have some directors, and I have some people at my level. I even have people
Yes.
below me. And it's like what you want is you want it to be well rounded. And the reason why is like I
Absolutely.
like the people that's like years ahead of me, because
Mhm.
their insight on things that I haven't even seen yet is critical. I'm like, I
Yes.
like help me avoid these pitfalls that's gonna come in the next 2 years. I got people who are just a
Exactly.
little bit above me that's like, tell me what I need to do now to be
Mhm.
operating at your level or to be able to prepare for your level, right? The people at my
Right.
same level, hey, can you help me see a different perspective on this? What are you doing? How do you do what you do? Can we share and exchange different ways in doing it? And people below you, they give you perspective on the people that you may be managing. Maybe they
Yes.
have their ear closer to the ground, like on an operational scale, where you need
Mhm.
to understand, like, hey, leadership saying this, but the people who's doing the work are saying this. How can you
Right.
use that information in order to help yourself move further? So for me, like I said, I run the gambit
Mhm.
because I want to hear from everybody, so that way I know how to move. So that's just my tip on
Absolutely.
building your board of directors.
I love it. I mean, you just spilt it all. So, for those of you who are listening, get you a bomb board of directors, okay? I love that. And Tamara, I could
Mhm.
talk to you for hours,
Oh, you already
seriously.
know. You already know. You already know.
And
This probably
we'll,
gonna happen. We probably gonna talk after this. I'm
yes,
like, oh
I
yeah,
was just
let's.
thinking like we need to talk afterwards and keep in
I
touch. So
got you.
I love this. But I want to just wrap up with a couple more questions. And the first one being, now that you are out of that toxic work environment, how is life today?
Life is good. Life is very interesting for me. Um yeah, I can't speak too much on it, but I'm definitely in a place where I have space to kind of figure out like what I am really passionate about.
Mhm.
What is going to be my next level? Like, and
Mhm.
so I've been doing fun things. Like I've been giving back to myself. I've been like going sit by water. And so I'm really excited about this next chapter. Honestly, I don't know what this next chapter is going to be, but I like the way it's starting with this
Yes,
conversation. But
absolutely.
but no, I feel like I'm in a place in my life where this is one of those pivotal moments.
Mhm.
Whereas like, like I for those like I mean, whether you feel like the universe is gonna move or where God is about to do something
Yes.
big, that's kind of where I feel like I am. So I'm just riding. I'm just riding the wave, and I'm like, okay, once I figure out, like it's kind of like I'm floating right now, but once
Mhm.
I know what direction I'm going in, and I recognize what my true north is, I
Yes.
really think it's gonna explode. So that's how I am. I'm good.
It It
I'm
absolutely
good.
will. Yes, I love that for you, and I'm excited to continue to watch your journey and be a part of it as well. You know, we'll
Thank
keep
you.
in touch, so you gotta keep me updated on
Yes,
everything that is
absolutely.
going on. And you've said so much and shared so much with our viewers today, but do
Mhm.
you want to give any more words of encouragement or any last thoughts for anyone who's currently in a toxic work environment?
Oh, you have more power than you think you do.
Yes.
If you ever feel trapped, because it's very easy to be in that space and feel trapped, you
Mhm.
always have a choice. It may not be the choice that you want to make, but your mental, and your physical health are worth it.
Absolutely.
That's the best. That's all I got. Like
That's
that's all I
everything.
got.
Mic drop. That's what we needed. Well, Tamara, it's been an absolute joy to talk to you today. Thank you for everything that you shared. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being you. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation. We're going to have to do a part two one of these days.
I'm here for it, Chelsea. Like I'll roll up my sleeves. I'll get ready. But no, thank you. This has been amazing. I'm glad that we were able to create and share this space today. This has been great.
Absolutely. And Tamara is right on LinkedIn, and I will make sure to drop her contact information below so that you can connect with her and reach out to her if you need to. So thank you again, Tamara, and we will talk again soon.
Thank you, lady.
Hey there. I hope you all enjoyed my conversation with Tamra. If you didn't notice, we hit it off really well, and I just love her. Her vibe is everything. And she's dropped so many gems and a lot of relatable stories that I know many of you have gone through as well. So I hope that you take all of her experience and advice, especially regarding having a personal board of directors. Oh, I loved that. That is so crucial to our career success and navigating these toxic work environments. And therapy, I love me some therapy too. So please, 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 if you find yourself in a space where you need that additional support, do not be afraid to go out and get it. You deserve to have that support, and you need that to support to really thrive and find greener pastures and regain your confidence back because you are amazing. Tammy, thank you so much for sitting down and meeting with me today and sharing your story. I know it's going to impact so many women and men across the globe. So thank you so much. And for those of you who want to connect with Tammy or reach out to her, feel free to do so. I'm going to leave her contact information. I'll leave her LinkedIn profile in the description section below. So thank you again. And all right, we're going to move on to the next episode. All right, thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe and like.